kamighimu tolangit sikoy ko kamighimu taaldoy bulan ikaw ang nagbuhat sa kabituunan ikaw ang nagbuhat sa kalibutan manama mawantog ka warag po ko ilingkoy ko o Diyos kahibulungan ka busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم اجمع شمل المسلمين والكريستيان والأمة في مدينة دمام وسلم دائما مجتمعنا هذا بالسلم والأمن والتقدم في بلدنا هذا آمين يا رب العالمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times we have offended you, when we forget to acknowledge your presence in the image of our brothers and sisters, and for moments we fail to be good stewards of the blessings you have given us. Continue to guide and protect each one of us, Lord, that we may always walk in the lights of your everlasting love and mercy. Grant us, Father, with your comfort in times of distress and with your strength in times of weakness. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with the prayer and the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
Manama mawantog ka warag po ko ilingkoy ko o Diyos kahibulungan ka busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko.
mabuo ang division natin. Ating ipagmalaki ang sangay na natatangi, divisyon ng lungsod ng Tayabas. Ating ipagkunti, isisigaw ng sabay-sabay, taos puso nating ialay, buong buhay nilalaan para sa kabataan. Mga guro'y nagsama-sama, guro at mga siwa, lahat nagkaisa, kakayanin ang lahat. Ano man ang dumating, ganyan tayong lahat na tayabasin. Ating ipagmalaki ang sangay na natatangi, divisyon ng lungsod ng Tayabas. Ating ipagkunti, isisigaw ng sabay-sabay, taos puso nating ialay, buong buhay ilalaan para sa kabataan. Kapit-isip ipagpugay, sumisipon na sangay, kabutihan at karunungan, tungo sa kaunlaran. Isisigaw ng sabay-sabay, taos puso nating ialay, divisyon ng lungsod ng Tayabas para sa kabataan.
Good morning, Pelagians, Teabense, netizens. I am Sir Wilson Ramos from Senior High School Department, and welcome to our 2021 Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium. Today, we will be having our first virtual symposium na isa sa mga activities sa subject natin na disaster readiness and risk reduction. This is streamed through our YouTube channel na Agham Alam Hub, and I'm encouraging everyone to subscribe to this channel. As you can see, there are MELC-aligned video lessons in these channels that you can check out to help you with your lessons. Sa kabila ng pinagdaraanan natin sa kasalukuyan, ay dapat pa rin tayong gumawa ng paraan upang maipalawig natin ang kaalaman sa mga batang Palladian tungkol sa mga sakuna. Kaya natin idinadaos ang virtual symposium na ito ngayong araw. And to formally start our program, let us hear our opening program or our opening message from the Assistant Principal for Senior High School, Ma'am Maricel L. Abella. Ma'am.
Sa aming Principal 4, Dr. Hinarcy de los Reyes, Dr. Geraldine Constantino, Assistant Principal ng Junior High School, Dr. Eileen Averilla, Assistant Principal ng Learner Support, Ma'am Tess Palma, AO4, ang aming distinguished guests, department heads, teachers, parents, and batang Palladians. Isang mapagpalang umaga po sa ating lahat. As mandated by DepEd, there is a need to equip students with knowledge on mitigating and managing hazards and risks caused by natural disasters. And this particular mandate is applied to all schools. Not only that we are facing health issues, and we are asked to be provided with necessary information and preparation regarding the pandemic, but also we are instructed to propagate wide dissemination of information when it comes to the calamities and disasters that may come in our way. So sad lang po, and we have to celebrate this event, important event virtually, but still the goal of the program matters and still makes the event informative, engaging, and enjoyable. As what I have seen with the program, there are lots of activities that students may join. Like for example, meron silang slogan, writing, and such as this. Kami po ay bumabati at nagpapasalamat po sa organizers ng event na ito. Like yung ating DRRR teachers, ang senior high school, ang science department headed by Sir Marvin, ang YESO at saka ang SSD officers natin para sa isang napapanahong paglulunsad ng kamalayan para sa kahandaan, sa sakuna at kalamidad ng lahat ng mga bata, no? At particularly also ng ating komunidad. Sabi nga po natin, knowledge is power at ligtas ang taong may alam. Muli po, magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Maricel Abella, our Assistant Principal for Senior High School. Ngayon naman, alam kong excited na tayong lahat para makilala ang ating resource speaker para sa araw na ito. To introduce our resource speaker, may I call Ma'am Angelica Sagosio to introduce our research or keynote speaker for this morning.
Okay, so let me first introduce our keynote speaker for today. So she is graduated in Luis Palad National High School in her secondary level in 1989 and had finished her Bachelor of Science in Nursing at Calayan Educational Foundation, Lucena City in 1993. She had pursued and completed her master's degree in nursing at Sacred Heart College, Lucena City in 2004. She had also completed her academic requirements in Doctor of Philosophy Development in Education, and she is presently doing her dissertation in SLSU Lucban, Quezon. She had been to various organizations and shared her career expertise in the Philippine National Red Cross for almost 20 years as chapter service representative from 1995 to 2015. Through the Red Cross, she represented our country as Red Cross delegate in Japan 2006, in Cambodia in 2008, and in Hong Kong in 2013. After Red Cross, she transferred in City Schools Division of Tayabas as Education Program Specialist in 2016 to 2017 and became the Regional Facilitator of National Educators Academy of the Philippines. She is the Nurse 5 and the Nurse Supervisor in City Health Office. She has been an advocate for newborn screening. Through her, the LGU City of Tayabas was acclaimed with the best practice in newborn screening in the national and regional level. She has been the national speaker during the 17th Newborn Convention in Philippine International Convention Center, Manila on October 2, 2019 and was also the regional speaker on October 22, 2019 during the 2nd Regional Newborn Convention at Bayleaf Hotel General Trias Cavite City. Currently, she is designated as the OIC of Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office of Tayabas City, and she is dreaming to make Tayabas resilient on disaster. So may we call on Ma'am Rosario Che Paderes Mandelaria together with his colleague Wilmer V. Ayud, the Operation Officer of Tayabas, and also Mr. Winald O. Quinzanos, Cheryl S. Pabularcon, and Jesse James R. Balderramos. Those are the licensed trainers of DOH where it comes to basic life support and standard first aid. Thank you so much.
Magandang araw mula sa pamahalaang lungsod ng Tayabas sa pamumuno ni Mayor Ernida Agpi Reynoso at sa pamamagitan ng aming tanggapan, Tayabas City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office sa pangunguna ni Ms. Rosario Che Bandelaria at sa paggabay ni Sir Wilmer V. Iyod, ako nga pala si Allen Beatriz Izagala. Halina kayo at talakayin natin ano nga ba ang kahulugan ng DRRM at ano nga ba ang bigat ng epekto nito sa komunidad. Ang DRRM ay nangangahulugang Disaster Risk Reduction and Management. Ito ang tanggapan na naglilingkod sa gobyerno, civil sector, pribadong sektor at organisasyon. Bigyan natin ng kahulugan ang mga bawat salitang nabibilang sa DRRM. Ang una ay ang disaster. Ang disaster ay biglaang kaganapan tulad ng isang aksidente o isang natural na sakuna na nagiging sanhi ng malaking pinsala o pagkawala ng buhay. Ang ikalawa naman ay ang risk. Ito naman ay isang sitwasyon na kung saan ay may kinalaman sa pagkakalantad sa panganib. Ang reduction naman ay ang aksyon o katunayan ng paggawa ng mas maliit o mas mababa sa isang tinutukoy na bagay, halaga, degree o laki. At ang huli naman ay ang management na palagi nating nakakasalubong sa pagtahak natin sa buhay. Ito ang proseso ng pakikitungo o pagkontrol sa mga bagay o tao. Muli, ako si Allen Beatriz Izagala mula sa tanggapan ng Tayabas City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office ay nagpapaalalang ligtas ang may alam at bida ang handa dahil Tayabas DRRMO cares.
Ako po si Wilmer V. Iyod mula sa tanggapan ng Tayabas Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office o mas kilala sa tawag na Tayabas DRRM Office. Ako po ay isa sa nangangasiwa ng operasyon sa nasabing tanggapan. Ang disaster ay tumutukoy sa mga pangyayari na nagdudulot ng panganib at pinsala sa tao, kapaligiran at mga gawaing pang-ekonomiya. Maaaring ang disaster ay natural gaya ng bagyo, lindol, baha, pagguho ng lupa at pagsabog ng bulkan na kung saan ang Pilipinas ay vulnerable sa mga nabanggit na disaster dahil tayo ay nasa loob ng Pacific Ring of Fire. Ang disaster ay pwede ring gawa ng tao tulad ng digmaan, vehicular accident at polusyon. Maaari din problemang pangkalusugan kagaya ng kinakaharap natin ngayong COVID-19 pandemic. Ang disaster ay sinasabing resulta ng hazard, vulnerability at kawalan ng kapasidad ng isang pamayanan na harapin ang mga nasabing disaster. Narito ang ilan sa mga dapat gawin upang maiwasan ang mga sakuna sa ating pamayanan. Kaligtasan at kahandaan sa oras ng sakuna, panganib at kalamidad. Handa ka ba? Sa anumang oras at panahon, kailangan maging handa sa kalamidad at sakuna. Tara na't tumungo sa kaligtasan. Ang sakuna at kalamidad ay hindi mapipigilan. Ngunit maaari natin itong paghandaan. Halina kayo at ating talakayin kung ano-ano ang mga dapat gawin bago, habang at pagkatapos mangyari ang isang kalamidad at sakuna. Muli po, ako si Wilmer Villanueva Iyod na nagpapaalala na ligtas ang may alam, bida ang handa dahil Tayabas DRRMO cares.
Ako po si Bituin at ang ibabahagi ko po ngayon ay ang mga dapat tandaan at paghandaan bago, habang at pagkatapos ng bagyo. Bago dumating ang bagyo, alamin ang paraan ng paglikas. Lumisan kung ikaw ay nasa tabing dagat at siguraduhin na ang iyong bahay ay may sapat na tibay upang malabanan ang mga bugso ng hangin at mga pagbaha. Kung hindi, lumikas at pumunta sa itinalagang ligtas na evacuation center. Malalakas na ulan at hangin ang mararanasan, kaya siguraduhing matibay ang kapit ng bubungan, bintana at pinto ng inyong tahanan. Ilagay sa mataas na lugar ang mga importanteng gamit upang di maabot ng baha. Kung may parating na bagyo, bawasan ang malalabay na sanga ng puno. Itago ang mga kagamitan na nasa labas ng bahay na maaaring masira. Maglagay ng mga pananggalang bilang proteksyon sa iyong tahanan. Habang nararanasan natin ang bagyo, ito ang mga dapat nating tandaan. Kung ang iyong bahay ay ligtas, manatili na lang sa loob ng tahanan upang matiyak ang kaligtasan. Laging subaybayan ang balita tungkol sa bagyo. Kumuha ng transistor radios at makinig ng balita. At pagkatapos ng bagyo, ito ang mga dapat nating iwasan at tandaan. Lumayo at huwag lumapit sa mga nasirang kabahayan. Iwasang dumaan sa mga baha upang maiwasan ang pagkalunod at pagkakuryente. Iwasang kainin ang mga pagkain at inuming nadumihan. Kung sakaling may kailangang ilikas, humingi ng saklolo upang mabigyan ng karampatang lunas. Sa mga ganitong pamamaraan, tayo ay maaaring makaligtas. Dahil ligtas ang may alam, bida ang handa.
Magandang araw, ako si Kuya Win from Tayabas City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. Pag-usapan natin kung paano ba tayo makakaligtas kung sakaling merong pagbaha. Mga dapat nating alamin. Una, alamin ang paraan ng paglikas. Mahalaga ang may pagpaplano sa pamilya kung paano ba tayo dapat lumikas. Pangalawa, kung nakatira ka sa mga binabahang lugar, gumamit ng mga pangharang upang maiwasan ang pagpasok ng tubig baha. Pangatlo, ilagay sa mataas na lugar ang mga importanteng gamit upang di maabot ng baha, kagaya ng titulo ng lupa, birth certificate at iba pang mahalagang papeles. Pang-apat, laging sumubaybay sa mga balita ukol sa mga pagbabaha. Pang-lima, magkabit ng lubid at hagdan kung kinakailangang umakyat sa itaas ng bubungan ng bahay. Pang-anim, gumamit ng bangka at salbabida kung kinakailangan. Pang-pito, kung pinayuhan ka na iwanan ng iyong ari-arian, i-disconnecta lahat ng linya ng kuryente, pati na rin ang mga petrolyong kagamitan. Pang-walo, tumungo sa mataas na lugar o pumunta sa mga itinalagang evacuation center. Pang-siyam, huwag maglakad sa umaagos na tubig. 6 na pulgadang umaagos na tubig ay maaari mong ikatumba o ikapahamak. Kung kailangan mong maglakad sa tubig, dapat maglakad ka kung saan ang tubig ay hindi gumagalaw. Gumamit ng panukod upang suriin ang katatagan ng lupa sa harap mo. Mga dapat alamin pagkatapos ng baha. Una, huwag payagan ang mga bata upang maglaro sa tubig, kanal o bahang lugar dahil maaari silang makakuha ng iba't ibang uring sakit dito at pwede rin nila itong ikapahamak. Pangalawa, huwag subukang magmaneho sa bahang kalye. Pangatlo, kung ang iyong sasakyan ay nasa garahe, abandonahin na agad ito. Huwag nang subukan pang alisin ang sasakyan sa kondisyong baha. Ito ay nakamamatay. Pang-apat, iwasang lumusong sa baha na may linya ng kuryente na nakababa. Pang-lima, huwag bumalik sa bahay hanggat hindi sinasabi ng mga may katungkulan na ligtas na ang lugar. Dahil sa Tayabas, ligtas ang may alam, bida ang handa. Dahil Tayabas, DRRR cares.
Ako nga pala si Kuya Ian ng Tayabas Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. At ang ibabahagi ko po ngayon ay kung paano tayo makakaligtas kung sakaling magkaroon ng paglindol. At kung ikaw ay nasa loob ng gusali o bahay at nangyari ang pagyanig, ito ang mga dapat nating gawin. Umuklo, tumago at kumapit. Kung malayo ka sa mesa, lumapa sa sahig na malapit sa dingding at takpan ng iyong ulo at leeg gamit ng iyong mga kamay. Iwasan ng mga bintana, nakasabit na bagay, salamin, matataas na gamit, aparador na puno ng mabibigat na bagay. Kung ikaw ay nasa kama, manatili doon at takpan ng iyong ulo ng unan. Huwag subukan tumakbo sa labas sa panahon ng malakas ng lindol. Hintayin na tumigil ang pagyanig bago lumabas. Kunin ang nakahandang go bag at lumisan. Huwag gumamit ng elevators sapagkat maaaring mawalan ng daloy ng kuryente sa panahon ng pagyanig. Lumipat sa ligtas na lugar kung maaari ka nang maglakad. Iwasan ang linya ng kuryente, mga gusali at mga puno. Isara ang linya kung mayroong umaalingasaw na gas. Gumamit ng pamatay sunog kung mayroong apoy. Sakaling magkaroon muli ng pagyanig, sundin ang naunang ginawa na umuklo, tumago at kumapit. Huwag dagliyang umuwi ng bahay hanggat hindi sinasabi ng may mga katungkulan na ligtas na ang lugar. Dahil ligtas ang may alam, bida ang handa.
Magandang araw muli sa ating lahat. Ako nga pala si Jesse James R. Valderramos mula sa tanggapan ng Tayabas City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. Ano ang gagawin mo? Ano ang gagawin ko upang maiwasan natin ang mapaminsalang sunog? Sa pagkatuklas ng apoy, ang mga sumusunod na aksyon ang dapat sundin. Una, manatiling kalmado at huwag matakot. Ikalawa, sumigaw ng sunog, sunog at patunugin ang alarma. Ikatlo, ipaalam sa iba na mayroong sunog. Pang-apat, sarhan ng maaring pagmulan ng apoy. Pang-lima, kung maliit pa ang apoy, apulahin agad ito. Pang-anim, kung malaki na at hindi na kayang apulahin, lisanin na agad ang gusali at dumaan sa mga itinalagang labasan at tumungo sa tipunang lugar. Pang-pito, ipaalam sa mga nakakataas. Bago naman magkasunog, gumawa ng pagsasanay para sa isang fire escape plan. 2 beses sa isang taon, magsanay ng plano para sa mabilisang paglabas. Ilan sa kinabibilangan ng plano ng paghahanda? Maghanap ng 2 mga paraan upang makalabas sa bawat kwarto. Kung ang pangunahing daraanan ay naharangan ng apoy o usok, kakailanganin mo ng pangalawang daraanan upang lumabas. Tiyakin na ang mga bintana ay nabubuksan, screen ay madaling tanggalin at ang seradora ay maayos na nabubuksan. Sanayin ang sarili sa dilim, kung paano ang paraan upang makalabas ng bahay sa dilim o kahit sarado ang iyong mga mata. Bago buksan ang isang pinto, damhin kung ito ay mainit. Iwanang nakapinid ang pinto kung mainit at gamitin ang ikalawang labasan. Kung may usok na nagmumula sa paligid ng pinto, iwanang nakapinid ang pinto at gamitin ang ikalawang labasan. Kung magbubukas ka ng pinto, buksan ito ng dahan-dahan. Maging handa upang sarhan ito ng mabilis kung makapal ang usok o sunog sa kasalukuyan. May iwasan ng sunog sa tahanan. Sunog sa tahanan ay mahahadlangan. Ang mga sumusunod ay mga simpleng paraan upang maiwasan ang isang trahedya. Sa pagluluto, manatili sa kusina kapag ikaw ay nagpiprito o nag-iihaw ng pagkain. Kung iiwan mo ang kusina kahit saglit lang, patayin o isara ang kalan. Magsuot ng maikli na angkop kapag nagluluto. Huwag magluto kung ikaw ay inaantok, nakainom ng alak o umiinom ng gamot na nakakapagpaantok. Panatilihin ang mga bata na malayo mula sa lugar ng pagluluto. Ipatupad ang kid-free zone. Mga 3 talampakan sa paligid ng kalan. Iposisyon ang barbecue grills na hindi bababa sa 10 talampakan ang layo mula sa bintanilya at mga nakayungyong na sanga. Muli, ako si Jesse James R. Valderramos mula sa tanggapan ng Tayabas City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. Ang aming opisina ay bukas 24 oras. Maaari niyong tawagan ang mga sumusunod na numero 713-2008 at 0951-218-1022. Ligtas ang may alam, bida ang handa dahil Tayabas DRRMO cares.
Ako si Bituin at narito po muli kami upang magbahagi ng kaalaman kung paano tayo makakaligtas sa panahon ng kalamidad. At ang amin pong ibabahagi ngayon ay kung sino at ano-ano ang meron kay Go Bag. Kapag may mga banta ng panganib, kailangan lumikas papunta sa higit na ligtas na lugar. Bilang paghahanda sa mga ganitong pagkakataon, mahalaga na may Go Bag na dadalhin ang pamilya. Tandaan ang 3 mahalagang bagay sa paghahanda ng Go Bag. Una, suriin ang laman ng Go Bag kada 3 buwan at palitan ang laman nito na malapit ng masira. Pangalawa, ilagay ang Go Bag sa lugar na madali itong makita at makuha sa oras ng sakuna. Pangatlo, makipag-ugnayan sa mga leader para sa plano sa paglikas ng komunidad. Pag-usapan din sa pamilya kung saan tutungo sa oras ng kailangan ng lumikas. Naglalaman ang Go Bag ng mahalagang gamit sa oras ng sakuna. Una, mahalagang dokumento sa selyadong lalagyan. Pangalawa, posporo, flashlight, kandila at silbato. Pangatlo, radyo na may bago at ekstrang baterya. Pang-apat, first aid kit kasama ang panlunas sa lagnat, LBM, sugat at iba pa at mga gamot na regular na iniinom ng kapamilya. Panglima, pera at barya. Pang-anim, mga gamit para sa pangangailangan ng mga sanggol, bata, matatanda at may kapansanan. Pang-pito, pagkain na madaling ihanda at di na kailangang lutuin at sapat para sa 3 araw. Pang-walo, inuming tubig sa saradong lalagyan at sapat para sa 3 araw. Pang-siyam, telepono, power bank at charger. Pang-sampu, damit, kapote, bota at mga sanitary supplies. Pang-11, sleeping bag o banig at mga kumot. Pang-12, lubid, lumang dyaryo at matitibay na lalagyan.
Maraming salamat po, LDRRMO Tayabas, specifically kay Sir Wilmer V. Ayud, Mr. Winald O. Quinsanos, Ma'am Cheryl S. Pabularcon, at Mr. Jesse James R. Valderramos. Lalong-lalo na po kay Ma'am Rosario Che Bandelaria. So alam ko po na marami ng excited na estudyante na magtanong sa ating keynote speaker. So to start our open forum, may we call on Ma'am Rosario Che Bandelaria.
Hello po, ma'am. Hello? Hello?
Good morning po, ma'am.
Yes, good morning. I can hear you now.
Okay
Magandang
po.
umaga po sa lahat.
Magandang umaga po, Ma'am Bandelaria. Maghihintay lang po tayo ng ilang katanungan mula po sa ating mga estudyante at ating mga viewers.
Yes, and we are more pleased kung mas maraming questions para if you want to know more about disaster and its management, we will be happy answering your questions.
Okay po, meron na po tayong question. Ito po ang unang question. Ano po ang ating kasalukuyang response plan kung magkakaroon po ng malakas na bagyo dito po sa Tayabas?
Response plan. Actually, what we are doing right now, it's not only the DRRM ang involved. Ang ating pong paghahanda na ginagawa ay involving the capacity of the community, the whole community of Tayabas. So that's why we are having a coordination in the whole 66 barangays, and it involves the 66 barangay chairmen ng mga barangay. So every time that there will be an incoming typhoon, specifically, sila po ahead of time ay ating ini-inform and pinaghahanda. And the first thing ng paghahanda na ating pong nire-remind to them is the preemptive evacuation if ever sinasabing malakas ang parating na bagyo. Ano po yung preemptive evacuation? Hindi pa man dumadating ang bagyo, ang kalakasan ng bagyo, we are encouraging the people, yung mga nasa barangay, especially those in the flood-prone areas, ay lumikas na earlier para maiwasan ang further loss of lives, especially, at ang iba pang untoward incidents that might happen because of the effect of typhoon or a certain disaster.
Okay po ma'am, thank you po. So ngayon nalaman na natin na ang response plan ng ating DRRM, it doesn't just include the DRRM but also all the chairmen of the different barangays in Tayabas. So meron pa po tayong kasunod na tanong. Ito po ay, meron po ba na active fault na malapit sa Tayabas? Kung meron po, ay saang bahagi po ito matatagpuan?
Active fault. Actually, meron, at ito ay parteng palale. Mga palale area. No? At though hindi naman siya ganon ka-hazardous or kalakas or sinasabing red alert, no? May ilang portion lang doon na ganon na merong traces of fault na ang ating Tayabas City. That's why we also prepared a video tungkol sa paghahanda in times of earthquake. At tayo ay nagsasagawa niyan ng quarterly earthquake drill in compliance din sa ating nationwide simultaneous earthquake drill na ginagawa quarterly. I believe the schools are also complying to this earthquake drill.
Okay po ma'am, maraming salamat po. So para po sa kasunod na tanong, yan, meron po tayong tanong tungkol naman po sa mga sunog. Ito po yung kung may expiration date daw po ba ang mga fire extinguisher?
May expiration date. Actually, recently nagkaroon kami ng refresher and orientation sa BFE, sa Bureau of Fire. May expiration ba? Actually, sabi hindi na-expired, pero kinakailangang i-check from time to time kasi it might be, especially na kapag nagkakaroon ng leakage or butas, pagkasira sa hose, doon na maaaring lumabas yung pressure na magiging cause ng pagkaubos ng laman o pressure ng fire extinguisher. That's why frequent checking ay kinakailangan dito. So sabi yung pag-turn down, up and down, pag-shake niya, it's not actually shaking, pero yung, ano bang tawag doon? Yung up and down na anong tawag? Pag-move doon sa fire extinguisher, ay kinakailangan para hindi mag-settle down lang sa baba yung pressure and the chemical content of the fire extinguisher.
Okay po ma'am, thank you for making that clear. So now we know that fire extinguisher don't have expiration date, but it must be regularly checked kung meron mga leaks or kung meron pa bang laman or kung maaari pa bang magamit ang mga fire extinguisher. Ngayon po meron pa po tayong isang tanong. Ano daw po ang course na inline kung gusto po na maging isang uh, personnel sa DRRM? Yan po,
Wow,
ma'am.
thank you for that. It means that you are interested to join the family of DRRM. Alam nyo, this is what's good in DRRM. Kung itatanong mo ang mga personnel ng DRRM, ay sabihin natin na parang international. International kasi iba-iba yung profession. Kahit sino, it is open to all. Actually, by profession, I am a nurse. I am also a teacher. And then, anyone could be a personnel in DRRM as long, ano yung important sa akin bilang head ngayon ng DRRM, the most important is the attitude. If you have the desire and commitment to help people, number one yon. And if you have the trainings and experiences in terms of first aid, in terms of any emergency management, you are certainly qualified. At ako po ay ini-open ko ito sa lahat, lalo na kahit nga, syempre edge na pag may training. Pero number one ang attitude, if you are very willing to join the family, definitely, ikaw ang number one na mapapasama rin sa list namin na pwedeng maging aspirant. And ito nga yung ginagawa natin, regularly, nire-refresh namin ang ating mga personnel for the first aid, transport and carries, kasi gusto ko ay talagang ang mga tauhan ng DRRM ay skilled and equipped with knowledge.
Okay po ma'am, so clear na sa atin na it doesn't have to be a specific course para mapasali tayo sa DRRM family. It's just about your attitude and your willingness to help, to be part of the DRRM. So, meron pa po tayong isang question. Ito po, may offer po kayang trainings para maging isang DRRM personnel?
Offer na trainings. Actually, katulad na tong ginawa nyo ngayon, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the people behind na tong video na to. Itong video na to, this is made for you. Kaya kami nagkaroon ng ganitong video. And we are challenged to do it. Sabi namin at the same time, this will serve as the opportunity na rin. After this, we will be posting this in our page to educate people on the managing of disaster. Sir, let me acknowledge the persons behind this video. Of course, to my sabi ko nga, partners, regular staff on the DRRM, Engineer Wilmer Iod, Miss Bea Alan Sagala, the scriptwriter and our directress on this video, Miss Cheryl Pabolarcon, Sir Winald Cansano, Sir Adrian Mayor, Sir Jesse James Balderramos, Miss Genoa Cabrica as our editor and artist on the video, Sir Jello Kisea, and Sir Israel Saludes. So they are those persons behind this. Madalian yan ha, nung pagpunta nyo talaga, ginawa namin to for you para kami makatulong kasi our hearts, ako specifically gusto ko lagi kung paano lang naman makakatulong sa needs na inyong binibigay sa amin. At the training, kung ano ang gusto nyong training, what you need, at maibibigay namin, and we know that we are capable to give you the right information, ay ibibigay po natin. Specifically on giving first aid, training, BLS or basic life support, kaya lang because of the pandemic right now, we are not allowed to do it, na talagang may actual performance of the BLS or the giving basic life support. Kaya nagde-demo na lang kami. And then we also have do sa first aid training, yung bandaging techniques, binibigay doon, transportation and carries, yon. And then we also have trainings on preparedness, katulad ng binigay natin, what to do in times of this bagyo, flood, earthquake. So we're giving those kind of training. And any training that you wanted to know, or if you feel that you need, kung ano yung kinakailangan mo, and we think alam naman namin, and we are equipped on it, so we are very happy to give it to you. Yun po.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am. And that's our last question. So, I would like everyone, or all of our viewers, to give a virtual clap to all the DRRM personnel who prepared their presentation, especially Ma'am Rosario P. Bandelaria. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's virtual clap is already ano ba yon, a reward, invaluable reward sa amin. And we hope somehow itong ating mga estudyante who are listening to us and watching with us, sana may natutunan kayo. Kasi that's our dream, na ang buong Tayabasin ay maging handa whatever disaster it might come to us, even natural, especially in times of natural disaster. Sabi nga natin, we feel powerless kasi nature yan hindi natin kayang labanan. But if we are prepared, if we are handa, sabi nga, bida ang handa, no? Kasi somehow we will be able to mitigate the impacts of natural disaster kung alam natin ang gagawin. But those natural man-made disasters, because these are made by human, although sometimes yung mga accidents, mostly everyday, alam nyo ba yon, lagi na lang may aksidente. And it's more of vehicular accidents. Kaya yon yung aming reminders din, sana lagi tayong merong baon ng pag-iingat sa ating sarili. Because life is so precious, kawawa naman at maraming masasaktan kapag buhay ang nawala. Kaya yun lang, mga senior high of Luis Palad Integrated High School, sana ay mahalin nyo ang inyong buhay sa pamagitan ng pag-iingat sa sarili at pagiging handa. At yun ay kung inyong isa sa puso, isa sa isip, at isa sa buhay ang mga bagay na natutunan nyo ngayong araw na ito.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Rosario Bandelaria. Kagaya nga ng sabi ni Ma'am, bida ang handa. So, lagi tayong maging handa sa kung anumang sakuna ang maaaring dumating sa atin. To present the certificate of recognition, let me first read the citation for the certificate. Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium with the theme May Kabatirang Mamamayan sa Sakuna ay Nakalalaban. This certification of recognition is awarded to Wilmer V. Ayud in sincere acknowledgement for this valuable service as a resource speaker in the various activities during the Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium held at Luis Palad Integrated High School on April 23, 2021. Signed by Angelica R. Sagosio, Overall Chairperson, Sigrid F. Tibordo, SSG Advisor, Wendell R. Mayor, ESO Advisor, Maricel L. Abella, Assistant Principal for Senior High School, and Dr. Heiner C. De Los Reyes, Principal 4 of Luis Palad Integrated High School. Okay. This certificate is awarded to Sir Wilmer V. Ayud, Mr. Winald O. Quinzanos, Mr. Jesse James R. Valderramos, Miss or Ma'am Rosario P. Bandelaria, and Miss Cheryl S. Pabularcon, as well as Ma'am Allen Beatriz E. Zagala. Thank you for your participation and your knowledge, for sharing your knowledge in this virtual symposium. So now, let's move on to our next speaker. So, to introduce our next speaker for our virtual symposium today, he attended webinar on COVID-19, whom mental health and social services and training of trainers on physiological first aid held at Seville's Farm and Resort, Barangay Dumuit, Lucena City. He attended Webinar 101 and Tropical Cyclone 101 seminar held at Seville's Farm and Resort, Lucena City. He attended seminar on standard first aid and basic life support training held at Nawawalang Paraiso, Hotel and Resort, Barangay Kamaysa, Tayabas City, Quezon. He attended the 2018 Regional Contingency Planning Workshop for Division and School DRRM Coordinator held at Tanza Oasis Hotel and Resort, Tanza, Cavite. Our School Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Coordinator for Luis Palad Integrated High School, Mr. Isabelo P. Cuarto.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ang ibabahagi ko po sa inyo ngayon ay tungkol sa mga natural hazard. Ito po ay ang geological hazard and hydrometeorological hazard. Ganun din po, tatalakayin po natin ang kahalagahan ng DRRR school at kung paano mag-interpret ng hazard map. Ito po ang ating objectives. Number 1, recognize the sign of geological and hydrometeorological hazard. 2, interpret different hazard maps. And 3, recognize the importance of DRR in education. So, meron po tayong dalawang natural hazard. Yun nga po yung geological hazard at hydrometeorological hazard. So, ito po ang ating tatalakayin ngayon. So, ano po ba yung geological hazard? Geological hazard is a natural earth processes or phenomena that may cause a loss of life or injury, property damage, social and economic disruption, or environmental degradation. So, ang mga halimbawa po nito ay earthquake, volcanic eruption, at tsunami. So, isa-isahin po natin ang tatlong ito. So, earthquake. An earthquake is a shaking of the ground caused by sudden slippage of rock masses below or at the surface of the Earth. So ang earthquake may be classified as either tectonic or volcanic. So pag sinabi po natin volcanic, as magma makes its way through the crust to the surface of the Earth, it breaks apart surrounding rock, thereby generating volcanic earthquake. So yun po ano. Yung pong tectonic ay caused by movement of plates when energy accumulated within plate boundary zone is released. So ang tectonic po ay either side movement or up and down. Ano po? So ang tanong po, meron po bang sign ang isang earthquake? So meron pong sinasabi yung mga matatanda na kapag lumabas daw ang mga hayop, yung mga ahas, ay magkakaroon ng earthquake. So kayo po ba'y naniniwala doon? Ano po? Sa totoo po ay walang sign or walang makapagsasabi kung kailan nangyayari ang isang earthquake. Ano po? So wala po yung sign. Kaya kailangan po natin itong paghandaan. Ano? So earthquake may happen anytime without warning. So meron po tayo mga iba't ibang paghahanda diyan, katulad po ng quarterly drills na sinasagawa natin kahit po ngayon, kahit ang mga bata ay nasa kanilang tahanan. So meron din po tayong building assessment upang matiyak na ang mga building natin ay nasa maayos na pagkakagawa. Ano po? So ito po yung isang ginagawa natin, yung drill. Quarterly po yan. So yan po yung sa earthquake. Next po is volcanic eruption. A volcanic eruption is a process wherein volcanic materials such as molten or hot fragmented rocks or gaseous material are ejected from a volcano. So, tayo po dito sa Tayabas, meron po tayong vulkan. Ano? So, sana naman na hindi siya magising. So, hazard from volcanoes may be of different nature. This hazard include flowing of fast-moving molten rocks and other ejecta. The ejected fragments range in size from fine dust o yung tinatawag nating volcanic ash to large boulders, volcanic bumps, or blocks. Sorry po. So ano naman po yung sign na magkakaroon ng isang volcanic eruption? So ito po yung nangyayari sa Taal. Ano po? So ano po yung mga sign na magkakaroon ng isang eruption ng isang volcano? So isa po dyan ay yung increase in the frequency of volcanic waves with rumbling sounds. So nagkakaroon po ng maliliit na lindol sa paligid. Kasi gumagalaw yung nasa ilalim niya, ng mga magma. So another po is occurrence of volcanic tremors. Yan nga po yun. Increase steaming activity, change in color of steam emission from white to gray due to entrained ash. So, iba po yung kulay ng puso. Pag binangitin na, ayun na po yun. So, yun po yung ilang sign na pwedeng magkaroon ng volcanic eruption. Maliliit na lindol, yung earthquake sa paligid. And that is volcanic eruption. Tandaan po natin tayo po ay may vulkan dito sa paligid natin, sa bundok natin sa Banahaw. So next po is tsunami. So tayo naman po malayo sa dagat, so hindi natin mararanasan. So ano po ba yung tsunami? Tsunami are giant sea waves generated by earthquakes and volcanic eruption under the seabed. Not all submarine earthquakes, however, cause tsunamis. Ayan. Tsunamis can only occur when the earthquake is strong enough. So, mga magnitude 7 plus, yan, pwede na po yung mag-displace ng seabed, creating pressure in the water above it. Kaya nagkakaroon po ng tsunami. So, ano naman po yung sign? Ay, nga po, siyempre, pag nagkaroon ng malakas na lindol, sa ilalim ng dagat or sa katabi niya, so pwede po yung mag-cause noon ng tsunami. O yung sinasabi minsan na tidal waves, ano. So yun po. So one of the signs of potential tsunami is the occurrence of a very large earthquake that lasts for more than 20 seconds. Yun po yun. So tayo naman po malayo sa dagat, ano. Wala po tayo niyan. So, punta po tayo sa hydrometeorological hazard. So, ito po, pag sinabing hydrometeorological hazard, it pertains to the occurrence, motion, and changes of state of atmospheric water. So, ang mga halimbawa po niyan ay typhoon, cyclone, tornado, thunderstorm, flood, landslide, storm surge, global warming, and extreme climatic variabilities or yung climate change. So, isa-isahin po natin sila. Cyclone. Cyclone is an intense low-pressure system which is characterized by strong spiral winds toward the center called the eye. So, yung sinasabing mata ng bagyo. And a counterclockwise flow in the northern hemisphere. Hazard due to tropical cyclone are strong winds with heavy rainfall that can cause widespread flooding, flash flood, storm surge, landslide, and mud flows. So yun po yung ibang hazard na dala ng cyclone or typhoon. Ano po? So typhoon is a large, powerful, violent tropical cyclone. It is a low pressure area rotating counterclockwise and containing rising warm air that forms over warm water in the western Pacific Ocean. So halos pareho lang po sila, no? Nagkaiba lang sila ng tawag kasi sa ibang lugar ibang tawag. So less powerful tropical cyclone are called tropical depression. So yun po yung pinakamahina, ano. So kung nakikita niyo po yung larawan, so ito po yung aftermath ng Super Typhoon Rolly noong November 2020. Ito po yung isa natin building dun sa 4th floor ng grade 10 area. Sa grade 10 area. Nalaglag yung kisa ni gawa ni yung malakas na hangin. Ano po? So ano po ang sign ng bagyo? Siyempre alam naman po natin ano. Meron tayong mga typhoon signal. So, ano po ba ang pagkakaiba ng typhoon, cyclone, at hurricane? So, ang sabi po ay they are all the same thing. Tropical storm, not sila tropical storm, but they are known by different names and different locations. Yan. In the North Atlantic Ocean and Northeast Pacific, they are called hurricanes. But if the same type of disturbance takes place in the Northwest Pacific Ocean, it is known as typhoon. At sa South Pacific naman po and Indian Ocean, cyclone is the correct term. So yun po yung ano. Pero sila po halos pare-pareho. So ito po yung public storm warning signal na binibigay ng Pag-asa. So we have signal 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So pag signal number 1, yan po ay mahina lang yung hangin, 30 to 60 kph. So, no damage to very light damage. So, yan po ay tropical depression. Yan po ay pwedeng dumating sa loob ng 36 hours. Pag naman po signal number 2, within 24 hours, pwede po yung dumating. Ang lakas po niya ay 61 to 120 kPa, kilometer per hour. Light to moderate damage. So, yan po ay pwede nang sabihin tropical storm. And signal number 3, lead time po niya is 18 hours, 121 to 170 kph, moderate to heavy damage. Signal number 4, so yung signal number 2 po ay yung 121 to 170, it is severe tropical storm na po yun. At pag po number 4, 171 to 220 kph, consider na po siya as typhoon. So ano po ang impact? Heavy to very heavy damage. At ito pong isang pinakamalakas, signal number 5, ano po yung super typhoon, more than 220 km per hour. Yung po masyado na makapaminsala, super typhoon. So ngayon po, meron po tayong katadaan lang na bagyo, si Bising. So medyo malakas din po yun, parang kategory niya ay super typhoon. Kaya lang ay hindi naman siya naglandfall, mabuti na lang. Siya ay namaybay sa Pacific Ocean. Doon po sila kumuha ng lakas sa dagat. So next po is tornado. A tornado is described as a violently rotating column of air extending from a thunderstorm to the ground. Tornadoes come in many sizes but are typically in the form of a visible condensation panel whose narrow end touches the earth and is often encircled by a cloud of debris. It can have a wide range of color depending on the environment. Typically, tornadoes may appear nearly transparent and invisible until dust and debris are picked up. Yan. Ano po ba ang sign nito na magkaka-tornado? So, simple po, makikita po natin yung color of the sky may change to dark greenish color. Dilim, parang umuulan. A strange white occurring within a shortly after a thunderstorm. An approaching cloud of debris, especially at the ground level. May mga nadadala na pong hangin kasi mabilis yung ikot ng hangin niya. Nadadala na yung mga bagay pataas. Dito naman po sa atin ay bihirang magkaroon yan. Ang malimit po niyan ay sa US or sa United States. Pero dito po sa atin may naitatala din, kaya lang madalang. Yan. Isa po ay sa San Miguel, Bulacan. Halos 30 houses po ang na-damage in 2008. Pero bihira naman po dito sa atin yan. So next, we have the thunderstorm. So what is thunderstorm? It's a weather condition that produces lightning and thunder, heavy rainfall from cumulonimbus clouds, and possibly a tornado. It is a violent local atmospheric disturbance accompanied by lightning, thunder, and heavy rain, and often by strong gusts of wind and sometimes by rain. So ito po nangyayari sa atin. Pag medyo kumulimlim na, at malapit ng umulan, nagkakaroon ng mga thunderstorm. So the typical thunderstorm caused by convection occurs when the sun warm has heated a large body of moist air near the ground. This air rises and is cooled by expansion. Ayan. The cooling condenses water vapor present in the air, forming a cumulus cloud. Yan. Ano po yung sign? So, darkening skies, mag-im, kung tawagin natin mag-im, madilim. Increasing wind, flashes of lightning, sound of thunder. Yan. Malimit po tayo makaranas niyan to pag tag-ulan, yung mga tulog at bigla. So, ayon po sa expert, ito daw po yung isang technique para sa lightning safety position. Ito po yung lightning safety position. Ano po? Kung anong gagawin. So, lightning safety expert have invented a lightning safety position. That is very important to know if you are caught in a thunderstorm and you can find a shelter. Kung kayo po ay inabot sa walang masilungan, tapos may mga kidlat, so pwedeng daw pong gawin yan. This position looks hard, but it could save your life. There are several reasons why for doing it. It makes you a smaller target. With your heels together, if lightning hits, so it goes through the closest foot up to your heel and then transfer to other foot and goes back to the ground again. Yeah. So if you don't put your feet together, lightning could go to your heart and kill you. Ayan po ang sabi. So you put your hands over your ears to protect them from thunder. So yan po ang pwede natin gawin kung sakaling abutin tayo ng mga kulog at kidlat sa wala tayong masilungan, nasa open na space. Hindi rin daw po maganda pumunta sa mga ilalim ng puno kasi yung puno mataas, pwedeng tamaan. Kaya ito po yung isang paraan. Okay. So next, we have flood. The flood is the inundation of land areas which are not normally covered by water. A flood is usually caused by temporary rise or the overflowing of a river, stream, or other waterfalls, inundating adjacent land or floodplains. So, dito naman po sa atin ay may ilang lugar lang na nakakaranas ito. Katulad po nung sa wakas, sa Rosario Pasada, yung daan doon ay umaawas pag lumaki yung tubig sa ilog. Po. So, doon malimit. So, siyempre po, ang sign nito ay the heavy rains. Yan. Kung may bagyo, siyempre, walang tigil ang ulan. Yan. Yung amount of rainfall occurring on real time basis, medyo matagal. So, kalimitan nyo kapag may bagyo, matagal ang ulan, dami binabagsak ng tubig, so nakakaroon ng flood. So, yun po. So, next, storm surge. So, ito po ay sa dagat din kapag may bagyo. So, it is rise of seawater above normal sea level on the coast, generated by the action of weather elements such as cyclonic wind. So, yun nga po yung dala ng bagyo, malakas na hangin. So, umakit yung tubig. Sea level is raised and driven toward the coast. Ayan. Yan po yung storm surge. O daluyong kung tawagin. So, next po is landslide. So, a landslide is a massive outward and downward movement of slow-forming materials. The term landslide is restricted to movements of rocks and soil masses. These masses may be ranged in size up to intermountain sides. Their movements may vary in velocity. So, ito po ay dulot din ng malakas na ulan. Minsan ay yung mga lupa ay wala nang humawak, wala mga puno, kaya nagkaka-landslide. Nagkakaroon po ng movement ng mga lupa. Next po is global warming. So global warming is the process of warming the earth caused by the so-called enhanced greenhouse effect, which trap the solar radiation in the atmosphere due to the presence of greenhouse gases. So ito po, ranas na natin ngayon, So ultraviolet radiation passes through the Earth's atmosphere and warms the planet's surface before being reflected back into space as infrared radiation. Ngayon, bumabalik yung init sa atin. So ano ba yung nagdudulot kaya nagkaroon ng global warming? So the concentration of these gases has increased dramatically as a result of human activity, therefore trapping more heat and thus causing global temperature to increase and climates to change. Yun. So ano po yung mga human activities that increase the concentration of the greenhouse gases? So mayroon pong burning of fossil fuels like oil, coal, gas, and others in transportation, manufacturing processes, in industry, and land use changes. It contributes to the increase of carbon dioxide emission. So another is livestock production and waste management system like landfills cause increase in the concentration of methane. Yan, mga landfill. So, yun po yung mga nabibigay ng dahilan para tumaas yung ating global warming. So, yun po. Next, we have extreme climatic variabilities or climate change. So, it is the direct impact of global warming. Rising temperatures will cause changes to weather patterns. Kaya po, ang mga bagyo natin ngayon, sobrang lalakas na rin ng climate change. As global warming occurs, most places will be warmer. This will cause changes in the amount and pattern of rains and snow, in the length of growing seasons, in the frequency and severity of storm events, and when sea level rises. Ayan, mabilis po magbago. Masyadong mainit, pag naman nakaulan, sobrang ulan, nagdudulot ng mga baha. Ang bagyo ay sobrang kalakas. Ano po? So, yan po ay dulot ng climate change. So, dahil po sa mga hazard na yan, so paano ba natin siya ma-reduce yung disaster? Ano po? So, meron po tayong formula para ma-reduce yung disaster o yung risk, disaster risk. So, ito po yung formula, risk is equal to hazard times vulnerability over capacity. So, kung isa pong object ay lantad sa panganib o sa hazard, so kailangan natin palakasin yung kanyang capacity para yung risk bumaba. Ano po? So, yun po yung pinapakita ng formula. Pag mataas ang capacity, so mas mababa yung risk. Kaya po tayo ay maraming ginagawang pagsasanay, paghahanda. So, yun po para mapataas yung ating capacity. So, yun po yung ibig sabihin nito. So, next po, ito naman po yung kahalagahan ng DRRR sa education. So, ito pong theory na ito, yung Comprehensive Disaster Risk Reduction and Management in Basic Education Framework, ito po yung nagpapakita ng kahalagahan ng DRR sa education. So, DRR helps achieve the education outcomes of access, quality, and governance. Without the DRR, hindi po natin makukuha yung tatlong yan. Yung access, quality, and governance. So, ito pong framework ay this framework seeks to protect learners. So, protect po niya yung learners and education workers from death, injury, and harm in school. So, andyan po yung mga plano natin para maprotektahan ang mga learners at yung lahat ng DepEd personnel. So, plan for educational continuity in the face of expected hazard and threats. So, katulad po ngayon, may pandemic. So, tuloy pa rin po yung ating pag-aaral ng mga bata. It is educational continuity. So, yun po yung mga plano. Another is safeguard education sector investment, strengthen risk reduction and resilience through education. So, ang DRR po ay naka-integrate na sa lesson. So, nakakatulong po yun sa mga bata upang maintindihan kung ano yung mga dapat gawin sa time po ng disaster. So, yun po yung mga kahalagahan ng DRR sa education. Okay po. So, next. Punta na po tayo sa interpreting hazard map. So, ano ba yung hazard map? A hazard map is a map that highlights areas that are affected by or are vulnerable to a particular hazard. There are typically created for natural hazards such as earthquakes, volcanoes, landslide, flooding, and tsunamis. Hazard maps help prevent serious damage and deaths. So, ano po bang meron sa hazard map? So, meron po may makita po tayo mga symbol, point, line, area. So, ano pong gamit nun? Sa earthquake, ang point nagsasabi na kunyari, yung epicenter, site ng earthquake. Pinumang line ay yung sa fault, kung nasaan yung fault. Sa area ay yung seismic intensity. Gaano ba kalakas yung lindol sa isang lugar na yun at kung hanggang saan. So, yun po yung intensity, na iba-iba po yung intensity. Sa typhoon naman po, ang point ay yung landfall. Saan ba maglalandfall yung typhoon? At yung line ay yung path, yung direction. Saan ba dadaan si bagyo? Po. Sa area ay yung kunyari na storm surge, gaano ba kalawak yung naapektuhan. Then, landslide. Yung point ay landslide site, saan bahagi, yung location. Line ay direction ng landslide. And area is landslide prone area. Gaano ba, alin bang lugar yung malimit, mag-landslide. Then, volcano, point ay yung mismong volcano. Line, direction of lava flow. Saan ang direction, saan ang punta. Then, area coverage of ash, gas, or lava flow. Hanggang saan ba abot yung abo o gas na nanggagaling sa volcano. So, yun po yung ilang makikita natin sa isang hazard map. So, also included in hazard map for the location, severity, and likelihood of occurrence. Yung location, kung saan, at severity, gaano ba lakas or hanggang saan, likelihood, nangyayari ba doon o yun po yun. So ito po isang halimbawa ng hazard map. Ito po ay binigay sa amin ng DRRR coordinator ng Division Office. Ito po ay volcanic hazard map of the Banahaw Volcanic Complex. So makikita po natin dito sa mapa, merong legend, ano po, medyo malabo nga lang at medyo may katagalan na din yata ito. So yung red, yung po yung nagpapakita ng yung highly, yung mas mataas ang chance na doon dumaan yung lahar, ano po. Parang ito yung mga ilog natin doon dadaan. And then yung violet, yun naman yung posibleng daanan din, ano, pero hindi naman masyadong grabe. Then itong radius, nakikita niyo po ito. Yan, yung magiging sakop nung ito yung area. Sakop nung magiging kunyari ay pag nag-erupt, ano po. Ayan. So dito sa bandang palali ay parang hindi siya abot. Yan. Medyo malayo na. So doon pala pwedeng pumunta sa bandang palali. So ito yung mismong kabayanan, yung may violet at yung mga red ay yung mga ilog at yung dadaan siguro. So yan. So next po ay landslide sa susceptibility map ng Tayabas. So hindi ko na lang po mabasa yung legend na gaano maliit. So ayan, ang red po ay siya yung mas medyo mataas. Ano, ang tsansa na magkaroon ng landslide. Ito po ay sa may bandang Talulong. Yan. Violet ay dito sa may Palali. Yung green na malaki ay dito na sa may papunta na sa bundok. Ano? Sa barangay Alitao. Yan. Lapit sa bundok. Ito po yung bundok niya. Makikita po na natin dyan yung mga barangay. Yan. So, another map po. Ito naman po yung hazard map, fault line map overlaid with school. So, sabi po natin kanina, ang fault ay nire-represent ng line. So, meron po ditong line na kulay red, medyo malabo na alam po. Ito po yun sa may bandang Palali, ano. So, nandun po yung fault yata, ito yung kulay red. Ayan. Doon po ang isa natin. So, marami po ito dun sa, marami pa po itong kasamahan na mapa. Hindi ko na lang po mailagay kasi nga malabo. Pero may record po ito sa munisipyo. Lahat po ng school ay binigyan ito at ipinos sa mga school bago sa pagkapasok ng mga school nilalagay po namin yan. So, yun po. So, next po is yung ating hazard map ng Luis Palad. Ito po ay ginawa namin noong 2018. Katulong ko po dito yung mga bata. Yung student-led watching and hazard mapping activities namin. So noon pong panahon yun, itong mga building na kulay red, ito po ay ginagawa pa. Yan, may mga nagtatrabaho, kaya yun po ay hazard. Kasi may mga estudyante pong dumadaan. Kaya po yun ay naka-red. Ito po yung ORN o yung Orlando Nades Hall noon. O main building, yun po yung ginagawa noon. Kaya nakakulay red. So makita po natin sa legend, ongoing construction ng red. Yan. Yung pong red na maliliit, yun po ay yung mga alarm natin, ginagamit pag nag-drill. Then itong dalawang blue, yung ating evacuation site. Yan. Kaso itong isa po ngayon ay medyo may gym na rin. Kaya ito na lang po malaki ang ating magagamit. Siguro pag nagbalik na po sa face-to-face. Then ito pong blue ay sa mga building, ayan, mga broken windows. So yun po yung hazard, sa mga building. Yan naman po yung nire-repair. Then ito pong black, yung mga exposed na electrical wiring, yan. Meron po dyan. Pero parang ngayon naman po na ayos na okay na po yan. So another po ay yung green. So ito po yung nag-represent po mga puno. So hazard din po yan. Posibleng makalaglag yung mga sanga or matumba. Ayan. Yung naman pong yellow ay yung narrow evacuation route. Medyo maliliit po yung daan. Kung sakaling mag-evacuate, medyo magsisikip po tayo dito. Yung mga yellow na daanan. Then next po ay yung kulay brown. Yun po is slippery pathways. So may mga lugar po dito sa atin na pag umulan ay madudulas. Tulad po dito papuntang gym o papuntang sa MAPE dati sa baba. So madulas po yung mga daan pag umuulan. So another po ay yung presence of strayed animals. So meron po tayong minsan napapasin mga aso sa labas or pusa. Ayan. Yung po hazard kasi baka makapangagat. Then, yung pong blue ayun na nga po yung evacuation zone. So, yan po yung ating hazard map. Noon, ngayon naman po ay walang bata. So, hindi pa po makapagsagawa ng student-led vaccine. But ako po minsan ay nag-iikot din. So, yan po. So, palagay ko po yun lang ang may ibabahagi ko sa inyo. Ayan. That's end my talk. I hope that I contribute even a little about the topic. Thank you very much. Stay safe and God bless. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Isabelo Cuarto, ang ating DRRM Coordinator ng Luis Palad Integrated High School, for sharing your valuable knowledge today in our virtual symposium. So, ipepresent po natin ang kanya pong Certificate of Recognition. So, I'm gonna read the certificate, Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium, with the theme May Kabatirang Mamamayan sa Sakuna ay Nakalalaban. This certificate of recognition is awarded to Sir Isabelo P. Cuarto in sincere acknowledgement for his valuable service as resource speaker in the various activities during the Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium held at Luis Palad Integrated High School on April 23, 2021. Signed by Angelica R. Sagosio, Overall Chairperson, Sigrid F. Tibordo, SSG Advisor, Wendell R. Mayor, YesO Advisor, Maricel L. Abella, Assistant Principal for Senior High School, and Doc Hiner C. De Los Reyes, Principal 4 of Luis Palad Integrated High School. So ngayon, let's move on to the next speaker for our virtual symposium. And I'm going to introduce the next speaker. He graduated Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Physical Science at SLSU on 2013, and graduated Master of Arts in Science Education as well in SLSU in 2018. He is the YESO advisor from 2018 to present. I'm going to introduce to you our next speaker, Sir Wendell R. Mayor.
So good day teachers, students, parents, and viewers na nanonood ngayon ng ating live. So before I proceed to my presentation, so I would like to greet our beloved principal, Dr. Hiner C. De Los Reyes, and to the assistant principals, Dr. Eileen Aberilla, Dr. Geraldine Constantino, and Ma'am Maricel Abella. Magandang araw po sa inyo. And I would like to take this opportunity to give thanks to my department head, Sir Marvin Rosales, for his full support sa mga activities ng YESO, as well as Ma'am Sigrid Tibordo na laging katuwang sa mga school activities, and especially to the overall chairperson of this event, Ma'am Angelica Sagosio, together with the technical and virtual streaming chairperson, Mr. Raymond Sobieta. So kung wala po sila ay hindi maisakatuparan ang munting celebration ng Earth Day. So bagamat huling araw, kahapon ay syempre, hindi tayo papahuli. So without further ado, let me proceed to my presentation. The topic I'm going to discuss is all about the theme, which is Pinasiglang Mundo, Restore the Earth, pursuant to the Presidential Proclamation Number 1481 Series 2008, declaring April 22 of every year as the Philippines Earth Day. So for the objectives of this discussion, I'm going to discuss some simple activities on how to restore the Earth, encourage the teachers and students to commit in saving the planet by stating the students' and teachers' pledge of commitment. And last, appreciate the importance of earth restoration as a prevention to climate change. So let me start my discussion with when Mother Earth sends us a message. Mother Earth is clearly urging a call to action. Nature is suffering. Oceans filling with plastic and turning more acidic. Extreme heat, wildfires, and floods, as well as a record-breaking Atlantic hurricane season, have affected millions of people. Now, we face COVID-19, a worldwide health pandemic linked to the health of our ecosystem. So it is very observable right now yung mga nabanggit na mga phenomenon. So as the time pass by, it become intense. So gaya ng nararanasan natin ngayon na sobrang init, pagkakaroon ng wildfires na nababalita sa mga news, pagkakaroon ng mga matataas na pagbaha, sanhi ng malalakas na ulan at dala ng bagyo. So this phenomena affects us people, and currently we are facing the COVID-19, which is linked to the health of our ecosystem. Climate change, man-made changes to nature as well as crimes that disrupt biodiversity such as deforestation, land use change, intensified agriculture, and livestock production or the growing illegal wildlife trade can increase the contact and the transmission of infectious diseases from animals to humans like COVID-19. So sabi ko nga kanina, danas natin itong mga ito, climate change, the disruption of biodiversity through deforestation, land use change, and so on. So pero katuwang natin ang DRRM sa pagkakaroon ng safe environment. So kaya diniscuss kanina yung mga dapat nating gawin para tayo ay maging handa kung sakaling may sakuna. So sabi nga, it can increase the contact and the transmission and infection diseases from animals to humans. So kaya marami sa ngayon ang nagre-research kung ang mga bats ba ang pinagmula ng virus na COVID-19. So since sa China, itong mga ganitong animals ay nakikita natin na binebenta sa kanilang public market, so I think it is possible na magkaroon ng transmission of infectious diseases from animals to humans since bats carry viruses. From one new infection disease that emerges in humans every 4 months, 75% of these emerging diseases come from animals, according to UN Environment. So this shows the close relationships between human, animal, and environmental health. Ecosystems support all life on Earth. The healthier our ecosystems are, the healthier the planet and its people. Restoring our damaged ecosystems will help to end poverty, combat climate change, and prevent mass extinction. So the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, which will officially launch with World Environment Day 2001 on June 5, will help us to stop, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystems on every continent and every ocean, but we will only succeed if everyone plays a part. So we as people, so napakalaki talaga ng ginagampanan natin dito sa mundo, especially in restoring our damaged ecosystems para malabanan ang kahirapan, climate change, at pagkaubos ng mga endangered species. So let's remind more than ever in this International Mother Earth Day that we need a shift to a more sustainable economy that works for both people and the planet. So let's promote harmony with nature and the earth. So let us join the global movement to restore our world. So but the question is, are we taking care of the earth? So we must act decisively to protect our planet from both the coronavirus and the existential threat of climate disruption. So that is according to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. So, pero ano nga ba yung mga some simple activities na pwede natin especially gawin this time of pandemic kasi halos yung oras natin ay nasa bahay lang tayo. So here are some simple activities on how to restore the earth. So the first one, the first image na nakikita ninyo is reduce, reuse, and recycle. So cut down on what you throw away. So always follow the 3 R's to conserve natural resources and landfill spaces. The second image, so pwede kayo mag-guess if you want. So type nyo lamang sa chat box. Comment nyo lamang sa ating chat box. So that is volunteer. So volunteer for cleanups in your community. You can get involved in protecting your watershed too. So tuwing umaga, pwede nyo din siyang gawin sa labas ng bahay ninyo na maglinis. It is also a form na rin ng exercise. Then, the next one, educate. So when you further your own education, you can help others understand the importance and value of our natural resources. Next one, conserve water. So the less water you use, the less runoff and wastewater that eventually end up in the ocean. So next picture is shop wisely. So buy less plastic and bring a reusable shopping bag. So kapag pupunta kayo sa market, so instead na plastic ang gamitin, why gumamit tayo ng mga reusable shopping bag? Then, next is use long-lasting light bulbs. Energy-efficient light bulbs reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Also, flip the light switch off when you leave the room. So, kung aalis kayo ng bahay, so, wag nating kalimutan tanggalin ang mga nakasaksak na appliances at mga nakabukas na ilaw. Next is plant a tree. So, trees provide food and oxygen. So, they help save energy, clean the air, and help combat climate change. So, kung nung face-to-face, sinasagawa natin yung pagtatanim sa garden. So, kung may malawak tayong bakuran, so pwede tayong magtanim. It's because it provides us food and oxygen. It also clean the air and help combat the climate change. Next one is don't send chemicals into our waterways. Choose non-toxic chemicals in the home and office. So, ito yung usong-uso ngayong pandemic. Bike more. Pero kung wala, walk more. So, kung malayo ang inyong pupuntahan, kung malapit lang naman ang inyong pupuntahan, rather, so, why don't you ride a bike? Or, kung walang bike, so, lakarin na lang natin in order to conserve energy. Next is, choose sustainable. Sustainable living involves reducing the amount of Earth's resources that you use to help to protect it. So, yung mga nasabi ko kanina is one of the activities na sustainable living. So, yung iba pa, for example, eat less meat because the production of meat is one of the biggest contributors to climate change and the pollution of landscape and waterways. So, by eating less of it, you can help to reduce the impact the meat industry has on the earth. Then, as well as another activity pa is donate unused items. So, for example, meron kayong mga hindi na ginagamit. If you don't use a product or wear a piece of clothing anymore, so give it to a charity shop or someone you know would make use of it to help reduce the waste. So ngayon, usong-uso ang community pantry. So, hindi lang yung mga pagkain ang pwede natin ilagay sa mga community pantry, but also yung mga hindi na rin natin nagagamit na cloths. So, ito yung ilan lamang sa mga halimbawa ng sustainable living. So, again, so these are the ways in order to restore our earth. Bike more, drive less, educate, volunteer, reduce, reuse, recycle, conserve water, shop wisely, long-lasting light bulbs are a bright idea, plant a tree, don't send chemicals into our waterways, and choose sustainable. So now that you are already reminded on how to restore the earth in some simple activities, at alam ko naman na alam na ninyo ito, at ito'y naituturo na sa bahay at paaralan, and we as your teachers ay hindi magsasawang magpaalala sa mga bagay na ito. Kaya the next question is, can we take care of our Mother Earth? So, makikitype nga sa inyong chat box kung yes. Then, if yes, so let's have the pledge of commitment. So, before I proceed to the pledge of commitment, so prepare your phone camera. So, magkakaroon tayo ng selfie video dito habang binabanggit ninyo yung pledge of commitment. Then, upload your selfie video. Then, after nyo mai-video, you're going to upload your selfie video of pledge of commitment in this link na nasa chat box. So, I will give you 10 seconds para ma-prepare ang phone camera. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I think ready na ang ating mga viewers. So, unahin muna natin ang mga teachers. So, para sa mga guro, itaas ang kanang kamay, pindutin ang record button, at ako ay sabayan. So since ako ay isang guro, sasabayan ko din ang mga kaguruan. So magandang araw, ako si Wendell R. Mayor, guro sa Luis Palad Integrated High School na tumutulong mapalaganap ang importansya sa pagkalinga para sa ating kapaligiran at buong planeta. So bilang guro, layunin ko ang ituro sa ating kabataan ang wastong pamamaraan ng pakikitungo sa kapwa at sa ating kapaligiran. Sa aming paaralan, itinuturo namin sa aming mga estudyante ang tamang pagtapon ng basura at ang importansya ng pag-segregate at pag-recycle. Layunin namin na palawigin pa ang partisipasyon ng kabataan sa paglinis ng ating pamayanan at pagprotekta sa ating kapaligiran. Together, let's restore our Earth, sama-sama walang plastikan, tungo sa plastic-free Philippines at mas pinasiglang mundo. Okay? So, kung na-record na natin, so maaring nyo na siyang i-upload sa ating link na nasa comment section. At para naman sa mga estudyante, ako ay inyong sabayan. So, itaas ang kanang kamay, pindutin ang record button, at ako ay inyong sabayan. So, kung magandang araw, ako si pangalan, mag-aaral sa Luis Palad Integrated High School na tumutulong mapalaganap ang importansya sa pagkalinga para sa ating kapaligiran at buong planeta. Kaming mga kabataan ay nakikiisa sa malawakang panawagan para sa pagkalinga at pagprotekta ng ating planeta. Hindi basurahan ng ating mga ilog, dagat at kapaligiran para basta-basta lang tapunan ng plastik at kung ano-ano pa. Kung hindi natin lulunasan ngayon, lalo pa itong lalala. Kailangan ng mas agarang aksyon para sa mas masigla at mas matatag na bansa at planeta. Together, let's restore our Earth, sama-sama walang plastikan, tungo sa plastic-free Philippines at mas pinasiglang mundo. Kung na-record na ang inyong video ay maaari na ninyo itong i-upload sa link na nasa chat box. Maraming salamat. So at bilang pagtatabos, sabay-sabay natin ulit sambitin. Together, let's restore our Earth, sama-sama walang plastikan, tungo sa plastic-free Philippines at mas pinasiglang mundo. Muli, ako si Sir Wendell Mayor, ang gurong tagapayo ng Youth for Environments in Schools Organization. Thank you very much and peace be with you. For my reference po, maraming salamat, Sir Wendell R. Mayor, para sa yung very informative talk about sa International Mother Earth Day. So let me present the certificate of recognition to Sir Wendell R. Mayor. Let me first read the content of the certificate.
Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium with the theme May Kabatirang Mamamayan, sa sakuna ay nakalalaban. This certificate of recognition is awarded to Sir Wendell R. Mayor in his sincere acknowledgement for his valuable service as resource speaker in the various activities during the Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium held at Luis Palad Integrated High School on April 23, 2021. Signed by Angelica Arsagosio, Overall Chairperson, Sigrid F. Tibordo, SSG Advisor, Wendell R. Mayor, ESO Advisor, Maricel L. Abella, Assistant Principal for Senior High School, and Dr. Hiner de los Reyes, Principal 4 of Luis Palad Integrated High School. So let's give a virtual round of applause for Mr. Wendell R. Mayor. So for this part of this virtual symposium, I'm gonna award the people who are behind this virtual symposium. First, let me read the content of the certificate. So, Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium with the theme May Kabatirang Mamamayan sa sakuna ay nakalalaban. This certificate of recognition is awarded to Angelica Arsagosio in sincere acknowledgement for her valuable service as overall chairperson in the various activities during the Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction Virtual Symposium held at Luis Palad Integrated High School on April 23, 2021. Signed by Sigrid F. Tibordo, SSG Advisor, Wendell R. Mayor, ESO Advisor, Maricel L. Abella, Assistant Principal for Senior High School, and Dr. Hinel de los Reyes, Principal for Luis Palad Integrated High School. Same contents of the certificate is awarded to Ms. Angelica Arsagosio as being a facilitator for this virtual symposium and for being a part of the technical working group. Next one is for yours truly, Wilson Ramos, for being a part of the technical group and being the facilitator of this symposium. As well as being an assistant chairperson. Next one is for Sir Daryl Moses R. Vicente for being an assistant chairperson, facilitator, and part of the technical working group. Next for Mr. Wendell R. Mayor for being assistant chairperson, facilitator, and part of the technical working group. As well as for Mr. Raymond Christian F. Subieta for being part of the technical working group. And for Ms. Sigrid F. Tibordo for being the assistant chairperson, part of the technical working group, as well as for being a facilitator for this virtual symposium. Lastly, for the SSG officer as co-facilitators, and the SO officers as co-facilitators. Now we have awarded all of the people behind this virtual symposium. And most especially thanks to Sir Marvin J. Rosales for spearheading the live streaming of this symposium. Now, nandito na tayo sa parte na pinakahihintay ng lahat, ang awarding ng certificates para sa mga nanalo sa ating different competition, which consists of poster slogan competition, info TikTok competition, infographic competition, and quiz bee competition. So let me award the winners for the Info TikTok competition. For third place, we have Miss Charity H. Calayo from STEM 11F. For the second place, we have Vladimir C. from STEM 11G. And then, for the first place, siya ang nagugi sa ating Info TikTok competition. Drumroll please. Miss Edessa M. Artogue from STEM 11E. And then, congratulations for all the winners for the Info TikTok competition. Let's move on to the next competition. The Quiz B, the winner for the Quiz B competition, the Risk Takers Test. For the third place, we have Mr. John Christian V. Labrada from STEM 11D. For the second place, we have Mr. Patrick U. Reyes from STEM 11A. And for the first placer for the Risk Takers Test Quiz B, we have Helen C. Cuadra from STEM 11F. Congratulations to all the winners. And now, let's move on to the infographic competition. So, for the third place for the infographic competition, we have Miss Shelem Ann E. Ambas from STEM 11A. And for the second place for the infographic competition, we have Eleanor E. Idrisa, STEM 11A. And for the first place for the infographic competition, we have Kaja Riz Lieva from STEM 11A. So now we're gonna move on to the poster slogan competition. For the third place, we have Mary Ariane May L. Zubieta from STEM 11C. For the second place, we have Cielo P. Subieto from STEM 11G. And for the first place, we have Cian Patrick B. Quintero from STEM 11A. So, congratulations to all the winners. Now, let's give them all a round of applause. So, thank you for all the students who participated in the competitions that we have for this virtual symposium for DRRR. To give her message for all the viewers in this symposium, we're gonna have the Assistant Principal for Learner Support, Ma'am Eileen Aberilla.
Magandang umaga sa kanilang lahat. Una ang aking pagbati sa ating punong guro apat, Dr. Nercy de los Reyes, din sa ating mga kasamahan sa pamamahala, Dr. Geraldine Constantino, Assistant Principal of Junior High School, Assistant Principal of Senior High School, Madam Marisa Abelia. Gayon din ang aking pagpupugay sa mga nag-organisa sa gawain ito, Ma'am Sagusyo and Sir Isabelo Cuarto. Maraming salamat sa inyong dedikasyon, sa inyong trabaho. Gayon din sa ating panauhin, sa aking kaibigan, Ma'am Rosario Bandilaria, sa pagbibigay kaliwanagan at updates tungkol sa mga issues na kinakaharap po natin ngayon. Sa panahong ito, narapat talaga na tayo ay ligtas at lahat tayo ay informed tungkol sa kung ano ang ating mga dapat gawin. Wala na pong mayaman, mahirap. Sa panahon ngayon, wala pong matanda, wala pong bata. Everyone should be acquainted with what to do on this time of crisis. Pero kung tayo po ay sama-sama, tayo ay nagkakaisa, walang imposible, lahat po ito ay dadaan lamang at malalampasan natin. Muli, magandang umaga sa kanilang lahat and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you for that wonderful message from our Assistant Principal for Learner Support, Doc Maria Eileen Aberilla. And now, let's hear another message from the Supreme Student Government President. We have Miss Jenna Halbuena.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Unang-una, isa po itong pribilehiyo ang makapagsalita. At nagpapasalamat po kaming mga SSG officer at naging bahagi kami ng programang ito. Ang karanasan at kaalaman ay nagsisilbing sandata ng bawat isa sa bawat sakunang kinaharap. Ang ibahagi ang aming natutunan ay isang karangalan na makatulong at magsilbing isang huwaran upang ang bawat isa ay magkaroon ng sapat na kaalaman sa bawat sakunang ating kinaharap. Kapwa kong mga paladyan, palagi nating itatak sa ating puso at isipan na ang kalikasan ay mahirap kalaban sapagkat hindi natin alam ang dala-dala nitong sakuna. Kaya ang pagiging bukas ang isipan at pagiging handa ay magiging natin itong sandata. Lalo na ngayong pandemya na mas naging doble ang ating pagkabahala, nawa ay magbigay pa tayo ng kaalaman sa mga kabataan patungkol sa paghahanda sa mga sakunang darating at kung ano ang magiging dapat nating tugon. Sabi nga ni Kuya Kim, ligtas ang may alam. At higit sa lahat, huwag nating kakalimutan tumawag sa Panginoon. Sapagkat siya ang natatangi sa lahat na walang kahit anong sakuna ang titibag sa iyo. Kung may pananalig ka sa Panginoon, keep safe everyone.
Thank you for your message, Ms. Gilena Halbuena, our SSG President. And now, to formally close the program, we are gonna hear from Ms. Angelica Sagosio, our overall chairperson for this 2021 DRR Virtual Symposium.
So, lamang po sanang humingi ng paumanhin para po sa mga ilang technical problem na naranasan po natin kani-kanina lamang. And to formally end this program, I would like to extend my gratitude and appreciation to the people and organization behind the success of this activity. To my co-facilitators, SSG, headed by Ma'am Sigrid Tebordo, and YesO, headed by Sir Wendell Mayor, for the support and assistance. Without you, this would not be possible. To the Agham Alam Hub channel, for streaming the whole activity. With your help, we are able to reach and impart knowledge to the Palagians and Tayabense community. To our resource speakers, headed by Ma'am Rosario Che Bandalaria, together with her team LDRR MO Tayabas City, also Sir Isabelo Cuarto, for giving precious time and effort and for sharing your expertise to all of us. To Sir Marvin Rosales, Head of Science Department, for pushing us to turn this virtual symposium into reality. To our Assistant Principals of Senior High School Department, Ma'am Maricel Abella, and to Assistant Principal for Learner Support, Ma'am Eileen Averilla, for trusting us to pursue this endeavor. To our beloved Principal, Doc Henner, and to Luis Palad Integrated High School for serving as a channel of knowledge and for the unending support in this kind of activity amidst the pandemic. To our dear students, I hope you learn a lot from this virtual symposium. On behalf of my co-subject teachers in DRRR, Sir Wilson Ramos and Sir Daryl Vicente, thank you so much. Always remember, your life matters. Ligtas ang may alam, bida ang handa. Keep safe everyone, and God bless us all.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Angelica Sagosio, for your message. And we have come to the end of our program. Again, I would like to thank everyone who viewed our live stream today, as well as everybody who made this virtual symposium possible, the LDRRMM of Tayabas, as well as the YesO and SSG, and of course, the Agham Alam Hub, which made this live stream possible. So with that, I'm Mr. Wilson Ramos, your host for today. We're going to post the link for evaluation through the chat box, and kindly fill the link and answer the evaluation. Thank you and good morning.